Hello everyone and welcome back to KORR Monsters here in Pontiac, Michigan with a stacked 12 truck show for some racing and some freestyle later on. Starting us off with our field of trucks, we have Herbert Miller in Airborne Assault, Greg Easton in Andy Boy Batteries High Voltage, our 2002 racing champion Mike Maxwell in Ash Fire Extinguishers, our reigning freestyle champion Marc Moody in Before It Breaks Car Parts, our reigning racing champion Lonnie Hall in Cottonmouth, Fred Malone in Damage Control, Thomas Presley in Prehistoric Crush, Henry Gibbons in Flyin High, Huxley Baxter in Moving Violation, Tripp Cassidy in Rat Trap, our 2001 freestyle champion Opal Baxter in Reckless Red, and rounding out our field, Axel Weber in Warlord. And now moving on to our round 1 matchups here in racing. We'll be starting off with Cottonmouth going up against Prehistoric Crush, followed by Moving Violation and Before It Breaks Car Parts, Airborne Assault going up against Flyin High, Andy Boy Batteries High Voltage going up against Warlord, Ash Fire Extinguishers going up against Reckless Red, and rounding out our first round of racing, Rat Trap going up against Damage Control. Starting us off, we have Cottonmouth Prehistoric Crush pulling up to the line, waiting on that green light. Away they go. Cottonmouth with a little bit of an early jump. Prehistoric Crush keeping this close so far. Coming to the halfway point here. Cottonmouth about a truck and a half advantage. Into the final turn, Prehistoric Crush making up a bunch of ground, but Cottonmouth with the run out of the turn. Lonnie Hall and Cottonmouth moving on into the next round. Next up, Huxley Baxter in Moving Violation and Marc Moody in Before It Breaks Car Parts. Huxley Baxter with the big jump. Marc Moody was sleeping at the light. Into the first turn, Huxley Baxter in Moving Violation had the advantage going in, even coming out, even at the halfway point. It's going to come down to this turn. And it looks like Marc Moody, Before It Breaks Car Parts, did in fact make all that ground up to take the win going into round number 2. As next up we have Airborne Assault going up against Flyin High. Both trucks leaving same time. Both trucks going wide as well. Halfway point, it looks like Airborne Assault with a slight advantage. Coming to the final turn, it looks like Flyin High got the advantage in the turn, and indeed Flyin High will be moving on, as Airborne Assault got a little crossed up on that landing there. Now we have High Voltage going up against Warlord. Warlord with the jump on High Voltage. Going into the turn, looks like High Voltage has already made that ground up. But Warlord staying pretty tough, pretty even at the halfway point, coming down to the final turn. Warlord over-rotates a little bit, and it'll be High Voltage moving on into round number 2. Almost an upset there. As now we have Ash Fire Extinguishers going up against Reckless Red. Light goes green. Little bit of a wheelie from Reckless Red off the line. Both trucks a little wide once again. Keeping it pretty even, though. Could be a photo finish here. Good turns from both trucks, but it'll be Opal Baxter and Reckless Red moving on into round number 2. As now we move on to Rat Trap versus Damage Control. Waiting on that green light. Both trucks are away. Keeping it pretty tight in the first turn. Looks like Damage Control having a little bit of issue with that turn, as Rat Trap has about a truck and a half lead. In the final turn, Damage Control struggling with the turn once again, as Rat Trap with the easy victory into round number 2. And now looking at that bracket for round number 2, we'll see our reigning champions, Cottonmouth and Before It Breaks Car Parts in the first race, followed up by High Voltage and Flyin High in race number 2. And then we'll end up with Reckless Red and Rat Trap to round out this round, and we will be taking a fast loser from this round into round number 3. Now we have our reigning champions pulling up to the line. Racing champion Lonnie Hall and Cottonmouth on the left. Freestyle champion Marc Moody and B4 Breaks Car Parts on the right. Away they are. Cottonmouth with the big advantage. Coming into the final turn here. Looks like it's going to be all Cottonmouth going into the semifinals. As Marc Moody just could not keep up with that snake. Next up, Flyin High versus High Voltage. High Voltage with a little bit of an advantage coming off the line there. But it looks like Flyin High might have made that up already. Coming into the final turn, it's a tight one so far. Coming to the line, it's going to be Flyin High going into the semifinals. Little bit of an upset there in that. And now we have Rat Trap going up against Reckless Red. Once again, even off the line, these drivers have that light timed perfectly tonight. Looks like Rat Trap, Tripp Cassidy, just a little bit out in front of Reckless Red. Both trucks keeping it tight to the final turn. Reckless Red goes a little wide, and Rat Trap will take the win and go to the semifinals. And now our semifinal matchups will be Cottonmouth going up against fast loser High Voltage. So High Voltage is coming back. And Flyin High going up against Rat Trap. First race here of the semifinals. Cottonmouth, High Voltage waiting on the green. Away they go. Into the first turn. This is an even race so far. Cottonmouth keeping it a bit tighter. And in front by about a truck length. Coming to the final turn, can High Voltage make it up? Not enough. Almost, but not quite enough. Cottonmouth will be going on into the finals here. So now we have Flyin High going up against Rat Trap. Could we see teammates in the finals? Both trucks leaving. Coming to the halfway point. Looks like Flyin High is ahead of Rat Trap. Coming to the final turn here. Rat Trap digging deep. Flyin High digging as well. At the line, Flyin High barely edges out Rat Trap. Flyin High going to the racing finals against our reigning racing champion, Lonnie Hall and Cottonmouth. As now both those trucks pull up to the line here, waiting on the green. And away they go. Could this be the night for Flyin High and Henry Gibbons? Or is it going to be another win for Lonnie Hall and Cottonmouth? Halfway point, it's all Cottonmouth. About a truck length advantage once again. Coming to the final turn. And it will in fact be Cottonmouth picking up the racing win. Flyin High gets into a little bit of trouble there. But Lonnie Hall and Cottonmouth is your racing winner here in Pontiac, Michigan. And now moving on to freestyle, we'll be starting off with Warlord being the first truck out. Followed by Prehistoric Crush, Andy Boy Batteries High Voltage, Flyin High, Damage Control, Cottonmouth, Airborne Assault, Moving Violation, Rat Trap, Ash Fire Extinguishers, Reckless Red, and then we'll be ending off with our reigning freestyle champion, B4 Breaks Car Parts. Starting us off, we have Axel, Weber, and Warlord. Bit of a hometown hero here, been competing in Michigan since 1987 with this truck. Obviously not this exact truck, this is a much newer chassis than what he debuted with. Way back when they were still running Leafers. But nonetheless, long-time driver here. Never really had the results here in KORR Monsters. Almost got that racing upset in round 1 though. As he gets a great little sky wheelie there off the backside of the white lane. Axel always put on a pretty decent show here for us. Never one that's in contention for the win though, and I know he'd like to change that as he gets another great sky wheelie off the backside of that car stack. Going into some donuts here. It's a pretty good run so far from Axel. Probably the best we've seen out of him. Looks like he's going to the backside of that dirt mound. Gets a good little hit off of it. 20 seconds left in the run. We know we'll be seeing bigger air later on, but it's a good taste of what's to come as his time is coming to a close here. I have to imagine judges probably going to score this pretty well as time comes to a close as he hits that big elevated truck stack in the middle. And it's going to be a 19 for Axel, Weber, and Warlord, so not a lot of love from the judges there. As next up, we have Thomas Presley, Prehistoric Crush. Another truck that tends to stay around here in the Michigan area as he gets into a lot of trouble there on that first hit. Great sky wheel. He got it really crooked, though. Brought it back down onto all four wheels, though, luckily. It's another sky wheelie off the backside of that blue lane. Not quite as aggressive that time. Understandably so. Going for a slap wheelie here and does not quite get it. As he now moves on to his next hit. Looking like he's going to go after that racing lane. Get some good air off of it. About halfway done with this run. Definitely gonna need to see some more out of it. As he rolls it over that other dirt mound, you can barely even see it. As he putts around looking for his next hit. Backside of the blue lane once again. Momentum in this run is non-existent. He's going to the backside of the white lane. Gets a good sky wheelie off of that one. Only a few seconds left here. Going for some donuts to end the run. And it'll only be a 17 for Prehistoric Crush here. Not the score he wanted, but not a lot the judges could do with that, as now we have Greg Easton, Andy Boy Batteries High Voltage, starting us off here with some great air. Then back to the other racing lane, get some good air off of that as well. Looking like he's going to go for a sky wheelie off that white lane. Gets a great one. Pogos it, destroys that white car there. Now he goes into some donuts. Best ones of the night so far. Now looks like he's going to try and air it out off that dirt mound, and he gets some pretty good air off of it. But again, I'm sure we'll see bigger later on with who we have here tonight. Going for a slap wheelie and also does not get it. .30 seconds left in the run. Going after that big center obstacle. Airs it out, gets tripped up by the truck, gets into some trouble. Recovers it nicely though. So now he goes looking for his next hit. Goes for another sky wheelie, does not get it. Might have already done too much damage to these racing lanes to get any more sky wheelies. His time expires here. As I say that, he gets a great sky wheelie off the blue lane. Truck shut off there. It's a 23 for Andy Boy Batteries High Voltage. Next up, surprise of the racing bracket, Henry Gibbons and Flyin High. Made it all the way to the racing finals. Don't normally expect to see him go that far in the bracket, but he was on one tonight with racing times rivaling that of Cottonmouth, but just kind of fell under the pressure in the finals. As he now gets to work at what he's best at, and that is freestyle. Again, one of these trucks, not always competing for the win, but always a very strong truck in the middle of the field. As now he lives up to that namesake, flying high off that racing lane there. Looking for that next hit. Looks like he's going back to the other racing lane, loses the flag and airs it out once again. Henry Gibbons and Flyin High here looking to cap off a great event, trying to get that freestyle win. Goes off the track there. Officials don't shut him off. So now he airs it out off that dirt mound with some great air. About 10 seconds left here. What's he doing? Going for an awkward hit off the racing lane. Definitely a unique one. And now he's going into some donuts to end the run here. Clips that stack. Ends it there. It's going to be a 25 for Henry Gibbons and Flyin High, so that will take the lead here. As next up, we have Fred Malone in damage control. Looks like he's going to start off trying to get a slap wheelie here, and finally someone gets one off that stack. Dragging the bumper across the floor here. Fred having issues with the turning of that truck in racing. Looks like it might already be a problem here in freestyle. As he airs it out off the racing lanes. Looking for that next hit here. Looks like he's backsiding the blue lane with a pretty good sky wheelie. Pogoed it a little bit and the truck shut off on him. Might have hit that switch in the back of the truck. Truck refired right away though. As he continues on, getting another great sky wheelie off the backside of that white lane. I might have spoken too soon before about these racing lanes being too crushed down for sky wheelies. Now he goes after that center obstacle. Gets some great air off of it. Little awkward on the landing. Now airs it out off the blue lane once again. Gets some good air there. Couple of seconds left here in the run. What's he going to do next? Looks like he's going to air it out off that dirt mound on the far side of the track. Hard landing, but gets it into a slap wheelie. Truck comes down. It's going to be a 26 for damage control, so that will take the lead here. As next up, we have our racing winner, Lonnie Hall in Cottonmouth. Starting us off, good hit on the backside of that white lane. News broke earlier this week, Dodge coming in next year with a brand new truck. Lonnie Hall, one of the names, getting thrown around to be the driver of that truck. A little weird though, given he's on a Ford-backed team, as he gets in a little bit of trouble there. But Lonnie on a Ford-backed team, getting rumored to be driving a Dodge next year. Little awkward, both the hit and that rumor. But he's been seen talking to those Dodge executives. So it could be a big shakeup there. We've also seen both of the Baxters talking as well with the Dodge people. As Lonnie's just putting on a show here. Donuts on this side of the track now too. Cyclones, I should say. Going on, looking for that next hit. 20 seconds left here in the run. Gets some good air off the back of that blue lane. So he goes looking for that next one. Looks like he's going to air it out here. As he does, get some good air off that near dirt ramp. As time comes to a close here, Lonnie going to keep going. Airs it out big off the white lane. Whips it around. Looks like it's going to be a 26 from the judges. So it'll tie for the lead here. As next up, we have Herbert Miller, Airborne Assault. Looking to start off with a sky wheel. Get some good air instead. Looking for that next hit. Looks like he's going backside of the blue lane. Gets some more good air off of that as well. Herbert Miller, one of these guys, he's going to put on a show every time you see him. Whether the judges will score it good or not is completely up to them. Because every time he comes out, it's at least a mid-20 point run, but the judges don't always see it that way. As we're about halfway through this run, he's going to air it out over that center obstacle. Gets tripped up, but brings it back down nicely. Could have been a big wreck there for him. Back to the blue lane, get some more good air off of it. Now he's going to air it out once again on this near dirt ramp. Little crooked in the air, could have broken something there on the landing, but the truck looks fine. And then more air off that white lane. That white lane seems to be giving more air than the blue lane. Airborne Assault, crooked in the air, goes up and over. As time expires, it's going to be a 28 for Airborne Assault here, blows into the lead. Not a lot of room on top for someone to take the lead, as now we have Huxley, Baxter in moving violation. Rumor going around, this could be the last time we see this chassis here on KORR Monsters. So definitely adding into those Dodge rumors, he could be the driver of that new Dodge truck next season. Or he could be building a new moving violation, we don't know. As everything's being kept pretty quiet. As he walks it over that big center obstacle. Looking like he's going to go for his signature power wheelie here. Has to put it down pretty quick though. Truck angled him weird. And now he's going for that car stack. Looks like he's going to go for another slap wheelie here. Gets it. Little squirrely, but kept it going. 30 seconds left in the run. Going back to that center obstacle. Tripped up once again on it. Gets some good air off that near dirt mound. Gets another slap wheelie. Puts it on the tailgate. All four wheels off the ground there. Last hit of the run, airs it out off the white lane. As time expires, he's going to keep going by the looks of it. Huxley, Baxter, always about putting on a show. Gets into some trouble. Recovers it nicely, though. Looks like he's going to cross up that center obstacle. Very unique hit. If that happened in regulation, that probably would have scored it very well. Looks like he's going to park it up here on top of the mound. It's going to be a 24 for Huxley, Baxter in moving violation. Next up, we have Tripp Cassidy in Rat Trap, our 2000 racing champion. Starts us off, big hit on the center obstacle. As now he looks around for his next hit. Looks like he's also going to go to the blue lane for his second hit, as most people have. Looks like he's going to go for a slap wheelie here, and he's going to get one. Almost into a little bit of trouble there. Now he's going to air it out off that white lane. This is a bit of an awkward floor here. A lot of very big obstacles you'd normally only see at finals, as Tripp gets some massive air off that ramp. But a lot of these guys not really sure how to attack this floor, as Tripp gets the biggest air of the night so far. Tripp going for some big air tonight. Goes into some cyclones. Truck's going over. And up and over it goes, spinning like a top on its roof. Not something we expect out of this Rat Trap truck, but the other ones, yes, as it's going to be a 23 for Tripp Cassidy. Not how he wanted that run to end. And now we have Mike Maxwell, Ash Fire Extinguishers, coming out next. 2002 racing champion. Starting us off with a pair of great hits. good air on both of them. Looks like he's going to take his turn trying to get this slap wheelie. As he gets it, I thought he was going to be a little late to the gas as he hits that FMX ramp on the side. Got a little tripped up there, recovered it nicely. Goes after that center obstacle, hard landing on the front of the chassis. Pogoed it onto the back. Does not look like the truck took any damage there that we can see. Now going after that near dirt mound crooked. Different hit, should score pretty decent with the judges. And now he airs it out off of that far dirt mound. Gets a good little slap wheelie off of it. 20 seconds left here in the run. Combos it up, going car stacked racing lane there. And now he crosses up the white lane. Only a few seconds left here. Time for one more hit, maybe. It looks like he's going to go after that center obstacle. Huge sky wheelie over. Gets tripped up by it. But recovers once again. So Mike Maxwell going ham on this track. Getting great air off of everything he can. Here's it out off the backside of that dirt mound on the far side. Going into some donuts. This is probably going to be the end here. Waiting on that score to pop up. It's going to be a 27, so not quite enough for the lead, but it will take second place. As now we have Opal, Baxter, and Reckless Red coming out next. Starting us off with a great hit on that white lane. And then gets some more great air off that blue lane. Opal, a pretty standard start to the run we've seen here tonight as she goes after that center obstacle sideways. Gets into trouble, puts the truck on the tailgate. Puts it in reverse to bring it back down. It's a good save there from Opal Baxter. And then airs it out off that white lane, showing why she's the 2001 Freestyle champion. Airing it out once again off that near dirt mound. 30 seconds left here in the run. And more great air, gets into trouble. And looks like she's going to recover it with a great save from Opal Baxter and Reckless Red. Gets some good air off the backside of that white lane. Momentum seems to be slowing down here. She's lining up for something. As she transfers from the far mound to the center obstacle, gets tripped up on the near one. Up and over she goes as time expires. It's going to be a 29 for Opal Baxter and Reckless Red with one truck left. As Marc Moody, before it breaks car parts, comes out. Starting us off, good hit on the white lane. Looks like it's going to be a pretty standard start going for the blue lane next. It'll be interesting to see how Marc freestyles his truck because we know he's not driving it again. Next time we see him, he'll have a brand new chassis and possibly a brand new paint job on that truck. So we'll see how well he treats it. Gets a good hit off that center obstacle. Got tripped up a little bit, but like everyone else, it hasn't bit him. There's normally obstacles like that, they start tripping trucks up during a show and they have a body count. That one does not so far. As Marc Moody just going to work, getting good air off of everything he can. This keeps up, it could be a winning run possibly. But he's definitely going to need a wow moment to compete with Opal Baxter. As he gets a little tripped up there. Crooked in the air, crooked on the landing. And now it looks like he's going to cross up that center obstacle, and it's going to bite him for it. He goes up and over. That obstacle only has a body count of 1, and it's in the last truck. Marc Moody, before it breaks car parts, only getting a 24 there. So it'll be Opal, Baxter, and Reckless Red picking up the freestyle win here, with Herbert, Miller, and Airborne Assault getting a 28 for second place, and Mike Maxwell picking up third in Ash Fire Extinguishers with a 27. Then we have Cottonmouth and Damage Control with a 26, Flying High with a 25, Before It Breaks Car Parts and Moving Violation with a 24, Rat Trap and Indie Boy Batteries High Voltage with a 23, Warlord with a 19, and Prehistoric Crush rounding out the field with a 17. Been a bit of a weird show here in Pontiac this year, but it was a good one nonetheless. Let us know what you thought about it down in the comments, and we'll see you next week in Atlanta, Georgia, for the next stop of the 2004 season. We hope to see you then, and we'll see you next time.